Welcome, everybody. My name's Michelle. I am from the Office of Student Experience here at the University of Utah. We're here to talk about going global at the university. Lots and lots of opportunities to study abroad, learn abroad, engage with our Asia campus, and lots of other things we're going to talk about today. Just so all the participants are aware, we are, and our panelists, we are recording this video. We'll edit it and post it both on our website, which is belong.utah.edu, and it'll also be on the university's YouTube page. So if you're not able to make it through the whole hour, you're always welcome to go back and take a peek. And I think we'll start by going around the room and doing some introductions from our panelists. Noah, why don't we start with you?
Sweet. My name is Noah Bobner. I am a recent graduate here a little over a year ago, but I work over at Eccles Global at the David Eccles School of Business, and we mainly provide study abroads for business schools, but I'll get into that later.
Great. Kathy, how about you?
Yes, I'm Cassie. I am the marketing coordinator for Learning Abroad, and I pretty much get to help recruit our programs to students around campus, which again, yeah, I'll talk more about it later.
Morgan?
Hi, everyone. My name is Morgan Lyon-Cotty. I'm the Associate Director of the Hinckley Institute, where we focus on internships. And so I'm excited to talk about some of those opportunities.
And Sarah?
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah Wynn and I work with our Utah Asia campus. So I work with inbound and outbound students, and we'll get a little bit more into that as well.
Great, thank you all. For participants, if you have questions as we go along, please feel free to type them into the chat and I'll gather those up and we will pitch those out to our panelists at the end of their slides as we kind of continue through today. So Sarah, I think we're going to kick off with you talking about the Utah Asia campus.
Perfect. All right, just gonna wait for the slides to get up here. Okay, awesome. So University of Utah, in case you are not aware, has a second campus in South Korea. So it is called our Asia campus. It's located specifically in Songdo, South Korea. And then next slide. And then just a really quick background on me. I kind of introduced myself super briefly, but I am our program coordinator. I'm based here in Salt Lake, but like I said, I work with inbound and outbound students. So what that means is I work with all of our students from Salt Lake who want to study at our Asia campus for a semester or more. And then all of our Asia campus students do have a requirement to spend at least 2 semesters here in Salt Lake. So I work with them as they transition to our Salt Lake campus as well. And then I myself lived in South Korea for a few years. So it's really fun for me to be able to work with students who are interested in our Asia campus and kind of share that piece of my previous history as well. So what is University of Utah Asia Campus? Students can continue earning their U degree while living and learning in South Korea. Like I mentioned, we're located in Songdo, which is quite close to the Incheon airport, not far from Seoul. So it's a really great location for students. And it's a nice way for them to be able to remain on track for graduation because it's direct UVU credit taught by UVU faculty, etc. We can skip this one. So at the Asia campus, as I kind of briefly mentioned, credits are direct UVU credits. So you don't need to worry about transferring between different universities or maybe having your credits come back as a different amount or a different type of credit. So it's all, again, just direct UVU credit. It is English speaking. That's a question I get all the time. Students don't need to know any Korean in order to go. Faculty, classes, everything is in English. And then the campus itself is in a very international part of South Korea. So almost all the signs everywhere, menus, everything like that is going to be in both Korean and English. We are celebrating 10 years as of last year, which is really exciting. And we opened in 2014 and we've continued to grow every year. So we're looking forward to kind of seeing where things go in the future. And then we'll get more into student life later in the slide, but there are a handful of clubs and organizations on campus for students to get involved in. There's internship, career development opportunities, research opportunities. And then within 10, 15 minutes of campus, there's so much for students to do: shopping, nightlife, cafes, restaurants, etc. Just a really quick overview. We only have about 650 students at our Asia campus. So it is going to be a much smaller experience and a much different experience than students get in Salt Lake. It's about a 15-to-1 student faculty ratio, which a lot of our students really appreciate because they get to know the professors a lot more. Again, there's a lot more opportunities for students for things like internships and research because there's so few students there. And it's also great for students later on when they need like recommendation letters. They know that their professors know who they are. And it is a double-edged sword because if students skip class, their professors know, right? If you only have 15 other students in class. But again, most of our students really appreciate that small class size. We do have quite a few countries represented. I think it's actually more than 18. This is a little bit outdated for this numbers right here. And then quite a few student clubs and organizations for the amount of students that we have on campus. We're gonna actually skip this since this will be posted. You guys can read through this later, but most of the time our students really, really love and enjoy their experiences there. So Incheon is like I mentioned, where the national or the main airport is, international, airport. And Songdo is a suburb of Incheon, and that's where our campus is located. But Incheon itself is just under 3 million people that live there. So it is a really large city, but the area around campus where students stay does feel quite small and feels a little bit more like a college town. It is at sea level, so it is definitely a big difference for students coming from kind of being surrounded by the mountains to being right next to the ocean. Quite close to Seoul. It is a technology and business hub. International airport nearby. It's a green city or a smart city. And so the city itself has been built up over the last 15 to 20 years, but it's been very intentionally built. There's so many parks kind of interspersed throughout all these big skyscrapers that you see. This image right here is actually Central Park in Songdo, so it's quite close to campus. And Korea itself is one of the safest cities, safest countries for students to visit. Students always say that they don't have any issues walking around. They never feel unsafe. So it is a really great option for students who maybe have not been abroad before. We have 9 majors and 6 minors offered at our campus. You can see those here. We do also have 1 master's program, but in addition to those majors, minors, even if students aren't studying one of those areas, we do have a lot of honors courses. We do have all lower division business courses, so within the first 2 years of the business program. And then we do have a lot of other general education classes that students can take. So again, students don't need to be in one of the majors, minors that we offer. They can still go. We do recommend usually within the first 2 years, if they're not one of those majors, just to make it easy to stay on track for graduation. But students can always reach out to me and we can kind of talk about a plan to get them abroad. Hey, for student life, we always have so many things going on campus. There's actually a requirement for some of our different student organizations on campus to have a certain number of events per month. And so I would say there's probably 2, 3, 4 events going on per week. And so actually I hear from students that there's so many events that I can't go to all of them because there's always something going on, which is a good problem to have for sure. We do have traditional events that happen each semester or each term. We have something called Splash Bash, which is like a big carnival celebration in the springtime. There's usually a street food festival in the springtime, which is really fun. In the fall, we usually have a once, maybe 2 or 3 times even per semester in the fall. There's a baseball team nearby, like a national Korean baseball team. So we'll always reserve seats for students, and that's a fun opportunity for students to kind of go get involved in like the local community. So a lot of things to do on campus. And then near campus, we have lots and lots of things for students to do as well. Right next to campus is something called Triple Street, and that is kind of that lower left section that you can see there. So it is essentially like 3 really large malls that are all interconnected. So lots of shopping, restaurants, cafes. Students are always there in between classes, after classes. There's like a bowling alley, karaoke, all kinds of things. And then Central Park, as I mentioned a little bit briefly earlier, that's that bottom right corner. So really a lot of fun things to do for students. Again, they're never bored, and the food in Korea is amazing, if I do say so myself. And then of course, Seoul is probably where most of our students are the most excited to travel while they're abroad. It's really easy to get there from campus. It's about an hour and a half by public transportation, about 45 minutes by car, but we have a bus stop right next to campus that will take students there, or the subway is about 10 minutes from campus. And there's just so much to see and explore and do there. Students are there all the time on the weekends, day trips, just so much to do. This is just really kind of a quick overview for costs, and we'll get a little bit more into costs in a minute, but most of our students do stay in our on-campus housing there. It's less than a 5-minute walk to class. Honestly, I would say it's like a 1.5-minute walk. It's like right there, which is nice for our students. They wake up, roll out of bed, get to class within like 5 minutes. But for generally speaking, for a semester, a double room with a roommate is about $1,000 for the full semester. A single room is about $1,500. And if you know what housing prices are here in Salt Lake, that is great because $1,000 is like a semester's worth of rent. A month's worth of rent in Salt Lake. So the fact that that's a semester is crazy. And then students do have a lot of access to amenities and different things on campus. And one thing that is kind of cool is that all rooms have private bathrooms as opposed to communal shared bathrooms. So students love that fact. There are so many scholarships as well that students can apply for. And I know that that is something that is really intimidating for a lot of students and families, especially if you've never been abroad before, is how do I get there? How do I get abroad? And I know Cassie will probably get into these a little bit later as well, but the Office for Global Engagement, which is partnered with the Learning Abroad Office, we offer a lot of scholarships for students each year. And then in addition to that, some of these other ones here are national scholarships, which means that they're open to students throughout the US. And so as students are kind of thinking about going abroad, we always encourage them to look into scholarships to start that scholarship hunt early because some of these have earlier deadlines than others. And the easiest thing or the best thing that I recommend is for when students are interested in going abroad is just meet with the coordinators early. So that way we can kind of let you know what the scholarship opportunities are, make sure you know what the deadlines are and help get you prepared for that. Then this is just a general cost breakdown for a semester at our Asia campus. So you can kind of see at that bottom that highlighted in red tuition is $5,000 per semester, and that's valid for up to 2 semesters for our Salt Lake students at the Asia campus. And so especially for our out-of-state students, it's a really great option because it can potentially save you a lot in what you would normally be paying for tuition here in Salt Lake. And then again, that $5,000 is a flat rate, covers 12 up to 17 credits. And again, it's valid for in-state, out-of-state, and international students. Room and board, again, is really affordable for most of our students there. The cost of living, the cost of food in Korea is quite affordable. So overall, our goal is that a semester at our Asia campus would be the same as a semester for an in-state student here in Salt Lake. So general timeline, students can attend our Asia campus any term, spring, summer, or fall. Students can stay up to 3 years, but most students opt for 1, maybe 2 academic terms. For freshmen specifically, we do have 2 special programs where students can spend their fall semester here in Salt Lake, and then they actually go to our Asia campus that spring semester. Global Quest is for any freshman student, and then Honors Korea, the Korea cohort is specifically for freshmen in our honors program. So there's links there if you're interested in either of those. But something that I do want to highlight is that freshmen actually are not allowed to participate on any other study abroad program until that summer after their first year. So this is the only opportunity for students to go abroad their freshman year if that's something that they're interested in. And then there are a few other options to attend the Asia campus outside of just like a normal semester. So we do have a couple of faculty-led programs. So the first one is a language and culture program. It's led jointly with a couple other universities, actually. So it's in partnership with 2 other universities, but some of our Korean faculty members here work with those faculty members there. Students earn about 7 credits. It's usually 4 to 5 weeks in the summer. There's a link there for more information. And then you can kind of see some of the typical excursions that are included as well as the course options that students have to take. And then one other that will kind of tie into NOAA is this IS minor. It's specific for students to earn an information systems minor within the School of Business or the College of Business. And so it's a 12-week program. Students earn their entire information systems minor over the summer, and they spend 6 weeks at our Asia campus and 6 weeks in Japan. So again, link to that is there. And then just if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. If you think of questions after this appointment or after this meeting, you're always welcome to reach out to me via email. It's the easiest way. Yeah. And then that's just follow us if you want, but we can skip that.
Awesome. Great information, Sarah. Just a couple of questions. When would you recommend reaching out to you all? How far in advance do you recommend for a student to reach out to your office if they're interested in participating in Asia campus?
So generally speaking, I recommend students reach out 2 semesters in advance, and that's specifically for scholarship purposes. So students actually are able to apply for learning abroad scholarships up to 2 cycles in advance. And so just reaching out early just allows you to have the most opportunities available in terms of securing funding. If funding isn't an issue, or if you have other scholarships already secured, then I would say you'll want to reach out probably about 6 months, 7 months before you plan to go abroad. Just so we can get you on track for the application process. There is a visa application process that will kind of walk students through, and we provide a lot of support and help with that. But yeah, so I would say scholarship purposes, at least a year in advance. General purposes, just for applying, about 6 to 7 months.
Awesome. And what would you say, Sarah, is for students coming from the Utah campus, what is the average length of stay on the Asia campus?
It's a great question. I would say the average length of stay is about a semester. So this past spring, or I guess it's current spring actually, we have about 85 students from Salt Lake that are at our Asia campus. About 16 of those are students who are actually there in the fall semester that chose to stay into the spring as well. So they're there for a full year. And the other 60-ish, 65 are students who are going there just for the spring semester. We have a couple that are staying into the summer, into the fall semester, but again, the majority of students go for just one semester. But something that I do hear from students all the time is that they wish that they had learned about this sooner, or that they wish that they had gone abroad sooner, because a lot of our students say, oh, I loved my chance or my time here, my experience here. I would love to stay longer, but I can't because of my classes or because of whatever the reason is. That's also something that I hear a lot from our students that go for the summer, because our summer term is shorter. It's about 6 weeks. And a lot of students say, oh, I wish I actually would have gone for a full semester instead of just the 6 weeks.
This sounds awesome. I'm going to send my daughter to you.
Please do. Happy to help her.
Great. Thanks so much. Morgan, let's kick it over to you and talk about Hinckley.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So the Hinckley Institute does a couple of things on campus. The big thing that most students know us for are our internships. And we have several internship programs. And I just want to give you a really broad picture of those. A, because it's nice to have, and B, because this is actually a really great way to have an experience with an international tie that maybe you're not ready to go abroad, you want to learn, you want to dip your toe. So this is not only a great way to learn about some of these experiences, but it's also a great way to improve your professional skills and to add to that resume so that when you are ready to do a global internship, you are really, really ready, which is what we're hoping for students. So we have several opportunities here in Utah. Our local and our youth service corps internships are very part-time. Students just work 10 hours a week. And then we have a full-time legislative internship in the spring where students work directly with legislators in our own state government. And the legislative internship and the service corps internships are both paid and are really wonderful. And we see a lot of students that are interested maybe in global health, in assistance to refugees, in doing some of these other programs. There's really great opportunities, especially in our local internship, which is for government offices, businesses, and nonprofits. And then the Service Corps internship, which is tied to AmeriCorps and is only for nonprofits. Utah is just an incredible place with lots of great humanitarian groups, cultural groups, and other types of entities. And as I said, entities that assist refugees. So if this is a path that you're thinking about a global internship, you're thinking about a career in foreign service or in an NGO or living abroad, these are some really great things. Our Washington, D.C. internship is another great opportunity. All of these internships are assisted by scholarship or are paid. Students live together in our new housing in the Hatch Center near DuPont Circle. And again, these are great opportunities. We have groups that do research and advocacy work in the Middle East for developing countries. We have internships with the State Department, lots of great opportunities. So if you're thinking, again, about these types of careers, maybe you're not ready to go abroad, maybe you want to do something with a big cohort, that Washington, D.C. internship is a really great place to start. Okay, now you have sort of a baseline of some of these other Hinckley experiences. So our global internship. So this is an experience for students who are hoping to go abroad with that added benefit of also working abroad, learning a new professional and work culture, adding to that resume while you're having this amazing experience living in a different country. So these global internships typically last about 10 weeks. They're available every single semester. Tuition, like our other study abroad programs, is deeply discounted. And as with, I think you're going to hear this from every single one of the presenters, there's just so much scholarship funding out there to assist students to go abroad. A lot of the scholarships Sarah actually listed also apply to the Hinckley. We also have our own Hinckley Global Scholarship. The Utah system of higher education has a scholarship assisting all Utah students who are wanting to go abroad. So any student from any university in our state can apply to those, though we do have the inside track on the knowledge. And I think almost all of those dollars come to U of U students, because those are the students that are applying for these just incredible opportunities. One thing about this, so we've been doing this global internship program for almost 20 years now. We've sent students to over 50 countries, and we've had students working in parliaments. We've had students working in really small NGOs in really remote areas, and then we have sort of everything in between. And one thing that we're really trying to develop right now are hub areas, hub cities, hub countries, because some students are really wanting an independent experience and want to find their own housing and just need help with Hinckley finding that host office. And then some students are wanting that cohort experience. And so if you go to our website and you're looking at our internships, we actually now list our global internships by experience level. So if you're wanting to go be among other interns, we have hubs in Australia, in Melbourne, and in Sydney. We have a hub in Shanghai. We have a hub in London, in France and Provence. And so there's great areas where you can go and live and work with other interns. And then maybe you have more experience and you're really wanting to go somewhere where you're out there on your own. We have great experiences in Cape Town, South Africa, in Kampala, Uganda, a couple in Ecuador. And so as you're thinking through this, and you're thinking about maybe what level of support you need, what level of adventure you're seeking, this is something that the Hinckley is trying to develop and is trying to work with students on. Again, with that cost, we work really hard to try to make it comparable to if you were staying on campus. And really what we see our job as to set you up for success in an incredible internship. So when you apply to the Hinckley Institute, you'll meet with our global director, Jean O, and she'll talk to you about what type of work you want to do, what type of host offices you're interested in, what countries you're interested in. And then she works with those amazing partners to set up some great opportunities for you all. Michelle, any questions?
What about, are any of the programs, Morgan, available for credit, for class credit?
So yes, we actually have a course. It's upper division, and we have graduate level course. And this is something that we require actually for all of our interns. So you earn that credit, and you have that benefit of being there on a university sanctioned accredited course. And the course is very minimal. It's really built to make sure you're succeeding in country and you're getting those professional tools that you need, again, to be successful at the internship.
And then Morgan, can you give us maybe a couple of different examples of types of projects that students could be working on? I know that a lot of times Hinckley gets kind of lumped into everything political because of the Hinckley Institute of Politics, but I wanted, could you just kind of explain the breadth of what students could potentially be involved in?
Yeah. So beyond maybe our very, very political internships like the Utah State Legislative and not even our Washington, D.C., we actually have a really great breadth of probably a third of our internships are with government or political offices, a third are with nonprofits and NGOs, and then a third are with sort of other, with businesses or other types of organizations. But the themes that we see that students work on, there's always, being part of the team, doing that administrative work, helping the office function, which you expect with really any internship. But most of our students are also assisting with research, with social media, with event planning, and then just every office that is looking for an intern is a really busy office, and they've got those special projects on the back burner. And those are usually where we see interns just shine, because they get this thing done that the office needs, and they just don't have the bandwidth. And so there's always great opportunities for students with those types of experiences.
Makes me want to be a student again.
I know, it gives you the coulda, woulda,
I
shoulda.
know. So many options, you guys. This is so great. Cassie, let's kick it over to you and talk about learning abroad.
Okay, sounds good. Just working on my audio here, but I think we're good. No echo or anything? Okay, no, perfect. Okay, well, yes, my name is Cassie. As I mentioned, I am the marketing coordinator and I work for Learning Abroad. So let's just get started. So kind of going more into depth, actually, we can skip over this slide because I like to kind of highlight the three main kind of like study abroad experiences we offer here in our office. So obviously the first one is the study experience, which is the most popular options that students choose to do, where they want to go abroad and just take their classes in a different country. But we do offer two other types of experiences. So the second one will be the research experience, where you can have kind of like that field work and a research opportunity, which I'll highlight in the next slide. But it's definitely a great opportunity, especially for some of our STEM students who may be looking for that research experience. And then our third one is global internships. Obviously, we do work very closely with Hinckley to get students to go on global internships with them, but we also do offer other global internship opportunities with our affiliate partners. But yes, these are kind of like the three main experiences, and we always tell students to like kind of keep in mind of which one you're interested in. And now we'll jump over to our program types. So overall, in our office, we offer over 500 programs in 50 different countries, which again can be very overwhelming when you think about it because it's like so many options to choose from. So we categorize them into three main program types to kind of help figure out which program like setting or kind of structure best fits the students' need, which we'll go into the next slide. So the first program type we have is a faculty-led program. So faculty-led programs are programs that you get to go with a faculty member and other University of Utah students and to get to go abroad with them. It's really great if you want to go abroad but not be 100% alone and still be with other U students. This is a great option. Kind of here's a breakdown about this program. It is University of Utah credit, so which is really nice. So it should fit into whatever credit you're looking for. As for cost range, the cost will vary per program. We do have some affordable programs, especially our short-term ones that happen to be sometimes a week during the spring or fall break, or in the summer where they're only 3 weeks long. So it kind of just depends on which one you're looking at. As for experience, we do offer a study and research experience. And as for the research one, I do like to highlight our chemistry research program in Germany, where students get to be there during the summer and actually work with master students in the chemistry lab. And they get a really great hands-on field experience in the lab. And they actually all get assigned different projects, and not all the students are going to be working on the same thing. So it kind of gives you that great like experience in researching. So we definitely try to coordinate those type of programs. And then as for duration times for a faculty-led, as you can see, they happen pretty much a lot of times in different times of the year. But I will say summer is our most popular time of the year, just because it also gives a lot more students flexibility so it doesn't mess up their fall or spring semester. Okay. And then our second program types are exchanges. We do partner with over 34 prestigious universities worldwide. Kind of how to explain exchanges. It's like what you see in the movies when an exchange student comes from a different school and goes to your school. It's the same concept, but in a university setting. And as for the credit type, this is transfer credits. So you will be transferring credits back to you, but we do have a system called pre-course approval in place. So that way you make sure your courses are approved before you go abroad. So you don't come back and find out, oh, my credits didn't transfer over. We make sure that doesn't happen through this pre-course approval system. The nice thing about exchanges for the cost range is that you pay the equivalent of 15 credit of resident tuition, since it is technically your exchange, so you just paid the normal of this amount of credit tuition price. And then as for experience, we do offer all three with our exchanges, a study, research, and internships. And kind of to like highlight the internship one here, for example, we have a partnership with the University of Sydney where they can take an internship class. And sometimes they work with them to get like a internship with the local organizations. So that kind of is just one example. A student can do an internship through one of our university partners. And then as for duration and terms, our exchanges majorly only happen during the fall and spring semester, and it is a full semester program, so you will be dedicating whatever semester you choose. We do sometimes have summer programs. It just depends on our university partners if they choose to offer them that summer or not. But we always tell students to kind of keep it out if that's what you're interested in. But overall, it is during fall and spring semester. Okay, and then our last program types are affiliates and internships. And kind of a best way to explain affiliates is kind of, there's just like these amazing third-party organizations we work with, and they tend to be located all different parts of us around the world. And sometimes they tend to have hubs in specific countries. So they have a lot of great local relationships with either a university or just other professors around that area. And then as for the breakdown for affiliates, it is transfer credit type. So again, you'll be transferring credits back, but again, we will work with that student to make sure the credits come back. As for cost range, it will vary per program and per affiliates. Every affiliate kind of has their own pricing, but we do tell students to always look into our affiliate scholarships because sometimes they offer either full tuition scholarships or a good like either half of scholarships, but overall, just always check our affiliate scholarships as well because it can really cover your program. As for experience, they offer, again, all three, the study, research, and internships. So just kind of dive deep and see which one you're interested in. And as for duration turn, kind of just like the faculty let it happens all throughout the school year. So just kind of pick the time that best fits your schedule. But yes, those are our three program types. And then here's just a quick overview on where you can find it on our website. Just go to learningabroad.utah.edu, go to our top right where it says portal, click program search. It'll take you to our program discovery. Again, as I mentioned, there are over 500 programs. So we always encourage students to play with the filter system, see what semester you want to go abroad, see what country you're interested in, maybe your major and so on, and really just explore within our discovery and just find the program that really calls to you.
I was on this website a couple of weeks ago, Kathy, and I was blown away by how many options there are.
Yes.
So super exciting. A couple of questions for you. For the exchange program, how does housing work? Both if you're in housing here on campus and now you're at a different university, does your office provide support to make the housing kind of switch, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we have an exchange coordinator who works closely. Did you want to say something? Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, so we have an exchange coordinator who will kind of work closely with the students. It kind of they either have to end their housing here in a sense, but then they'll figure out their housing over there and depend on the university they're going with. Sometimes they offer on-campus housing, sometimes it's maybe maybe an apartment or it's a homestay where you get to stay with a family who hosts you. So it kind of just depends on the exchange university you're choosing from. But again, we have an exchange coordinator who works closely with the student to get that all settled and scheduled for them.
Gotcha. For the internships, do the students need to have a declared major?
That will depend again on the university. I know, for example, the one I mentioned, the student does need to have a declared major, so that way they can find the right organizations. And then sometimes some students seek out that that internship themselves. So it kind of just depends on what the partner requirements are.
Okay, great.
Okay. And then we'll kind of go into the timeline for learning abroad. This is a very generic, but it's kind of just like a great way to start planning for your learning abroad experience. So the first one is to take our Learning Abroad 101 course. It is a free Canvas course. The student can take it on their own time, and it doesn't affect their GPA or anything at all. But it's just a great rundown of what to expect. And then obviously continue exploring all our programs and seeing which one calls out to you. The second step is to talk to your advisors. So there are many different advisors you kind of want to talk to make sure everybody's on the same page. So the first one is your talk to your academic advisor, especially if you want to do like the transfer credit programs, just because that way you can figure out what credits can you take abroad, what credits can you not take abroad, and just make sure you coordinate that with them so it doesn't mess up your graduation timeline. Then the second person you want to talk to is a financial aid advisor, just to kind of make sure to see if your scholarships can be applied to a learning abroad experience or not. And that way you can know what funding you have and what funding you don't. And if you need extra funding, of course, apply for our scholarships. And then the last advisor you want to talk to is one of our learning abroad advisors. We do go them by program type. So if you want to go on an exchange, you meet with our exchange advisor. An affiliate, you meet with our affiliate advisor. But they're a really great team and they will all help you through the process. Then the third step is to kind of just pick your program and start your application. We do tell students to at least start 6 months before your program departure, kind of as Sarah mentioned, mainly just to give you enough time to figure out all the little nuances of the application and also just get you ready to go abroad. And then the fourth step, apply for scholarships. I think that's one thing we all mentioned is that there are scholarships out there. So always seek them out, apply for them. And I'll talk a little bit more about our scholarships in the next slide. And then the last step is just to submit your application and prepare to go abroad. Okay, now time for financing and scholarships. So we actually give out over $400,000 worth of scholarships through our office. There are 2 deadlines, one in the fall and one in the spring. So it gives you kind of just double chance to get these scholarships. So we always recommend students to, as Sarah mentioned, to apply at least a year before, so that way you have figure out your funding. One scholarship we do like to highlight, especially for a student who has never gone abroad before, is our Global Discovery Scholarship. This one can cover up to $7,500. And as you can see here is kind of a breakdown of the requirement for the scholarships. But we do kind of recommend students apply for this, especially if they've never gone abroad and this is kind of their first time and need that additional funding support. And then on the next slide, I'll show our other scholarships that we offer. These ones you can stack on top of each other. So we always recommend students to kind of apply for all of them if they apply to you. So that way you can kind of increase your chances on either getting one or just stacking the scholarships on top. And then here's just kind of just some common questions we get. So first one is can an out-of-state student learn abroad and still qualify for Utah State residency? And then yes, you'll just want to let us know so we can give you the proper paperwork that you can give to admissions to let them know that you will be abroad, but you can still qualify for Utah State residency. And the next one is how soon can I go abroad? As Sarah mentioned, the earliest a student can go abroad is the summer after their freshman year, just because you are required to have a college GPA, which you won't get until after your fall semester, which means the spring semester is when you can actually start applying for our programs. And the last thing is just connect and follow us on Instagram. One thing I always like to highlight is that we have student takeovers. This happens throughout the whole school year, including the summer. And students just take over our Instagram account for a week and just show us the day of their life abroad. And we always try to get a good range of students from, like, as you can see, someone is in the lab doing a research program. We have a student who went to Korea, went to Italy for the architect program, and also just over there with Spain and so much more. So I always recommend students to follow us just to see what other students are doing abroad. And you can always ask some questions. And that is it.
Fantastic. You just got a new follower on Instagram.
Yay, perfect. Yes, we have a
All
takeover
right.
right now.
All right, Noah, bring us home with Eccles Global.
Sweet. Well, yeah, I'm Noah with Eccles Global. I'm the program manager here. Let's just jump right into it. So a quick little blurb on Eccles Global is it is predominantly for and geared toward the students at the David Eccles School of Business. However, all of our programs are open to students across campus, and we do get quite a few students that are interested in maybe doing an engineering degree and then dabbling their toes into a bit of business as well. We have nursing students that like to come with us and to learn more about business. Pretty much every major on campus, we've always had at least someone come at one point in time. And what's great about all of our trips is they're led by, it's faculty led, very similar to what Cassandra was talking about. And the faculty are from the business school, which is really great. So if you guys are around, you can always meet them, which they'd be happy to talk to you about their individual programs of students. And a lot of our programs we keep between about 15 and 25, keeping it that smaller group size. So that way, if students have questions or if there's content that they're struggling to understand, they're able to get into and communicate with the professor rather quickly, which is really great. So we keep a really good balance there as well. And then we have programs that kind of spread across the whole board as well. Why don't we go jump to the next one? So we have three different types of programs. We have fall and spring break courses. They're just for all of fall break and all of spring break. Starting this fall, each fall and spring break will have two options to choose from. And during your time abroad, you earn 1.5 credits of usually a business elective. So a lot of students love to do two of these programs. We have students that have done even 7 or 8 of these programs because they love them so much. So this fall break, we're actually headed to London for the week, and another group is headed to Japan for the week. And what's cool about this is we do a couple different business visits where students get to see different industries across the world and learn how they operate, maybe what they do to support in government capacities. And then we also like to include a university visit where we get to see different locations. This photo is actually one I think I took just last week in Auckland, and we went to the University of Auckland and went to their business school, and it was wonderful to have a tour there, and we toured throughout the rest of their campus as well. So students love seeing these different cultural side of things where maybe they have different cultural elements to their campus because of maybe indigenous people to that area or different uh, customs that you might find in these countries as well. And then we also have summer sessions. These occur throughout the summer in the first third, middle third, and last third, and all of them are 4 weeks long, and they're 3 credits. And so all of these courses that we offer throughout the summer, students need to take at the school to graduate from the David Eccles School of Business or during one of our summer sessions. So a lot of these students love to take business law abroad, for example, because business law is a whole lot easier in 4 weeks than it is in about 14, 16 weeks. I did the 14, 16 weeks. I wish I had the option to do the 4 weeks one. It was COVID, unfortunately, but students do love these programs as well. And then we have a few different minors that students can earn over the period of about 2.5 months, 11 weeks. One of them, Sarah touched on, is the IS minor program, which runs throughout the summer, where students spend 6 weeks in Korea, as Sarah was mentioning, and then the next 6 weeks in Japan as well. And then we have an entrepreneurship minor that is in Nice, France for the same amount of time. And both of those programs are signature programs. Students are always wanting to do these programs, mainly because you can keep your 4-year track to graduate and then earn a minor as well in one summer. So that way you're not throwing off your 4-year track and what you want to do and maybe graduating a few semesters later. It makes it really convenient for those who might want to tack on an IS minor or an entrepreneurship minor. And like I mentioned, we have a lot of students outside of the business school that love to do these minor programs as well, um, because they get to graduate with a major and a minor, and it just makes their degree shine that much more. We can go into the next one. Sweet. So with all of our programs, we do a really good job of balancing required time and then free time as well. We want students to explore the areas where they are at and see what life is like and see what they can find on their own as well. So for our summer sessions and our minor programs, students have about 4 hours of class Monday through Thursday, with the weekends that are free. I've got 2 interns currently who did the entrepreneurship minor last summer. One of my interns, Thursday afternoon, he jumped on a plane and went to Dubai for the weekend just to go see another part of the world. And then he was back Sunday evening for class on Monday again. So we do encourage students, hey, go travel while you're abroad, because as some of you might know, when you're in Europe, it is rather affordable to get around there. Of course, we encourage you, hey, stay away from parts of Europe, especially like Eastern Europe right now, where you might be hitting some issues. Um, but in general, everything where Eccles Global will take students, you can get by just well speaking English. The classes are taught in English. And then for some places where it might be a little bit tricky. I can say pointing goes a long way, but for all of our destinations, they are tourist loving areas, so many people know English quite well. During our programs, we also have a few, oh, go back one, please. Thanks. So during our programs, we also include a few group excursions. So some students during their entrepreneurship minor, they'll have 2 excursions. One might be to actually this location here that you're looking at, which is Lake Como in Italy. Some of them have been to Copenhagen on these excursions, and that's included in on your price as well. The only ones that don't have an excursion is spring and fall break, mainly because the whole trip is pretty much an excursion. And then we do have an excursion for our 4-week programs as well. And then, as mentioned, you have plenty of free time throughout all of our programs. Even during our 1-week programs, we will have a couple of planned activities that are really fun. This previous week in New Zealand, a lot of us went down to the set of The Hobbit. So it was really fun to go see where they filmed that. We also went to a geothermal area very similar to Yellowstone. And then in between both of those activities, students were able to go explore areas like Auckland and Rotorua. And then now we can go to the next one. Thanks. So we have a lot of global destinations. There are a few that we like to keep as fan favorites, some of them being Nice, France, Rome, Italy, Florence, Italy, Korea, and Japan. And then we also like to shake it up as well. So in the fall of last year, we went down to Machu Picchu in Chile and Peru, which was a lot of fun. And it's something that we don't always do, but who wants to see a seventh wonder of one of the wonders of the world? But we do like to shake them up, and we do like to keep some that are fan favorites. So it's always worth to keep checking our website to see what's being offered next. And part of this also includes when you can go, and we actually can take freshmen during their first fall semester if those want to come with us to like a fall break trip or spring break. And so we say, hey, if you want to come with us, you're more than welcome to. And just like if you're going to do a learning abroad program with Cassie, you can also earn residency with us as well. And then we also offer scholarships and financial aid. Those are on our website, and they are very similar to the ones that Cassie was talking about because we work with learning abroad to make sure our programs run smoothly. And that way, students, when they actually apply, they'll be redirected to the Learning Abroad website. But then everything else is pretty much done through us as well. And then, so yeah, as mentioned, when you're abroad with us, it's just like living as Utah. So a lot of students love to do a program during their rising sophomore summer. In fact, we encourage students as soon as they're finished with their freshman year or during their freshman year, they should be applying and going on study abroads with us. That way they can kind of get ahead, knock some other credits out, and also get that experience under their belt. A lot of students towards the end of their senior rising summer, they're looking at internships. The study abroad option is kind of a little bit out of the question, but if students can't find any internships, a study abroad is always still an option if they haven't taken the classes that they need quite yet. Oh, that's like so. Yeah, the one like I said, there's that. And then if you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. Also, you're more than welcome to email me, and then our website has a lot of information as well too. Just if you Google Eccles Global University of Utah, You can find just all of our programs, and then there's a little contact button up in the top where you can get in contact with me or Cesar Sanchez, who is the director here.
Thanks, Noah. Just one question, and you may have covered this and I missed it. How far in advance should students reach out to your office?
We recommend as soon as you start thinking about, hey, I want to do a study abroad, reach out to us and we can start recommending, hey, these are some good courses that you should start considering. What's cool about those summer sessions is students can choose to do one, two, or all three of them in a summer. So if students have maybe commitments later in the summer or an internship later in the summer, maybe that first 4-week option works really well for them. But one thing to note is all of our programs do sell out. So especially some of our very popular ones. So as soon as you kind of start thinking about it, our programs get posted usually right before the fall semester begins, and they're open through mainly most of the fall semester, and a lot of them sell out by, I'd say by Thanksgiving. And a
Okay.
few of them will last between Thanksgiving and the start of the spring semester. So
Okay,
as
great.
soon as you kind of get here, just kind of head our way, and we're happy to kind of explain some more. So
Awesome. That sounds great. So August, everybody, put that on your calendar. Look at Noah's website, get your passports ready. Any last questions from any of our participants? The chat's been pretty quiet, but if not, I want to thank everybody, Noah, Morgan, Cassie, Sarah, for your time today. This has been fantastic. I have a daughter who's coming in as a freshman in August, so really great information for me as well, because I know she'll be participating with some of these programs. So thank you, everybody, and I think we'll sign it off there. Take care.